In this video, we're learning about random sampling. So we'll cover what random sampling is, the different techniques that can be used in random sampling, and then finally, some methods for estimating population size. If we start with what random sampling is, when we're investigating population traits, like the abundance of different species in an area, it's often impractical or impossible to count every single individual organism. Instead, we can use random sampling as a way to collect samples that are representative of the larger population, whilst also avoiding bias. Here's how random sampling works. First, we choose an area to study, like this patch of forest, and divide it up into a grid. Then, we randomly generate coordinates across that area. So let's say we got some randomly generated coordinates, and they were these points here. This random generation prevents sampling bias by removing any human choice about where to collect samples from. Next, we choose an appropriate method for recording the number of organisms and collect a sample from the first of our random coordinates. This involves estimating or counting the number of individuals for each species in the sample to give a snapshot of the larger populations. Then, to make sure our data is reliable, we repeat this process several times by collecting several more samples at different locations. This gives us a larger sample size and minimizes the effects of chance. Finally, we analyze the data we've collected to identify any relationships or trends. Typically, this includes calculating an average for each species across all the samples. Next, let's look at some different techniques that can be used in random sampling. When sampling sessile or non-motile organisms like plants or stationary animals, we can use a quadrat, which is basically a square frame that defines a specific area for sampling. There are two main types of quadrat: frame quadrats and point quadrats. Frame quadrats are placed flat on the ground and are often divided into grids. On the other hand, point quadrats are vertical frames with holes that pins are inserted through, and then any species touching the pin is recorded. For sampling more motile organisms, in particular insects and other small invertebrates, there are several other methods we can use though. One is a pooter, which we can use to suck insects into a container. A sweep net is useful to catch flying insects, especially in long grass. We can use a pitfall trap to catch small ground-crawling animals. Tree beating involves hitting or shaking branches so that any animals not tightly attached to them fall onto the sheet below, and the sheet should be white in order to spot the animals more easily. And finally, kick sampling is used to collect animals in rivers. And to do this, you gently kick the riverbed and catch any animals that emerge downstream with a net. Finally, let's look at some methods for estimating population size. Measuring percentage cover is really useful for plants that are hard to count individually, like grass. First, we estimate the area occupied by a plant species within each quadrat. For instance, here grass covers 100% of the quadrat area, but here it's about 50%. Then we can calculate an average across multiple quadrats to estimate percentage cover in the whole sample area. So if we took just these two samples, we'd get an average percentage cover of grass of 50 plus 100 divided by 2, giving us 75% percentage cover of grass. Another method is calculating species frequency, and this is a measure of how likely it is that we'll find a particular species in a quadrat. For example, if you placed 10 quadrats and found primroses in 7 of them, the species frequency of primroses would be 7 divided by 10 times by 100 to give you 70% species frequency. Alternatively, you can also calculate species density, which estimates how many individuals of a species there are per unit area. To calculate this, you simply count the number of individuals in a species across all your samples and divide that by the total area of all your quadrats. So let's say we counted 18 daisies in total, and we had a 1 meter squared quadrat that we had placed 50 times. We could then calculate the species density of daisies by doing 18 divided by 1 times 50 times 100 in order to give us 36%. But remember here that if you use a different sized quadrat, you'll need to change that 1 to whatever the area of your quadrat is. You can also calculate species frequency or species density per quadrat. To calculate the species frequency per quadrat, we count the number of squares in a quadrat a given species is found in, and divide this by the total number of squares in the quadrat, and then multiply by 100. For example, if primroses are found in 6 out of 81 squares, the species frequency of primroses per quadrat is 6 over 81 times by 100 to give 7.40%. We can then average this across multiple quadrats to get a more representative value for the whole area we're sampling. For species density per quadrat, it's pretty simple, as you can just count the number of individuals of that species in the 1 meter squared quadrat. So if we find 12 daisies in this quadrat, the species density of daisies per quadrat is 12. And then, just like before, we can average this value across multiple quadrats if we want to.
If you haven't heard yet, you can find all of our videos on our website, cognito.org. You'll also find questions, flashcards, exam-style questions, and past papers. And we track all of your progress so that you always know what to study next. So sign up for free by clicking here, or browse our playlist here on YouTube.